Good
Yes,
evening,
yes.
Gigi.
Good evening, Samuel. How are you doing, sir?
Yes, good. A bit flustered, as I think we both are, sort of rushing to put things together.
Yeah, this was
But
pretty short. We kind of just had the idea and thought, let's just bloody go for it, really, innit?
yeah, yeah, this whole idea really come together in the sort of within about the last 4 days, didn't it? I hit you
Pretty
up and
much.
said, "Do you want to do a Dynamite review?" You said yes, and then I was like, "Oh shit, I didn't expect that." So we're gonna have to do it now.
Yeah. Well, happy to
Yeah,
be here. I hope you are too.
yeah. Very excited. I mean, I love talking about AEW. As anyone who listens to the Monday Night Chores will know that I'm regularly sort of slated for constantly segueing to, well, we know AEW. So as we
Well,
was just
well,
talking
that was
about, I
it.
thought, well,
That was
yeah,
it, wasn't it?
yeah,
So we was obviously, so Sam, you're from the Monday Night Chores podcast. Brilliant podcast. Make sure you check it out. Monday Night Chores on
thank you.
YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Funny stuff. So I was on the show last week. We started obviously just chatting away about AEW, kind of steered the course of the show a little bit. So we decided, well, Dave basically said, get a room, and we have.
This is our room, yeah, and you're all free to look in on that room. Just peep through the curtain and see what we're up to. Yeah, you little
Don't be
curtain
shy.
jerkers.
You can give us a little knock if you want. We might even let
So
you in.
we might. It's unlikely, but I mean, we might. So, just to make it clear, what our kind of little mission statement really is, isn't it? We want to do a weekly Dynamite review. We might touch on Elevation and pay-per-views, but for now, it's a Dynamite affair. We want to keep it to 35 to 45 minutes. We're not going to go hugely into detail. We're going to tell you what happened. We're going to tell you what we thought of it, and that is really about it. Quite importantly, we want you, the listeners, to tell us what you think. We don't just want this to be us two. We'll give out our Twitters and Instagrams and all the social medias later. We want to be interactive. So, we're going to maybe bring in a rating system for each show, but we're going to take a medium, an average from what everyone's telling us on Twitter. So we're obviously starting with last night's Dynamite, which was the 24th of March. That's correct. I got the date right. And just quickly, the card was as followed: Kenny Omega, the AEW World Champion, in a non-title match versus Matt Sydal. We had Hangman Page versus Cesar Bononi. Did you see Cesar Bononi's botch on Dark with Luchasaurus?
I've started calling him Cesar but no name, to be honest.
he,
He looked all
yeah,
right,
okay.
but we'll get into
Yeah,
it.
he looks all right. I mean, he's a guy that obviously they're giving him the ball and saying run, and he's dropping it here and there. So then we've got the Varsity Blondes and Dante Martin versus the newly formed Pinnacle faction, MJF's boys. The Laredo Kid making a return after nearly 2 years. He's teaming up with the Lucha Brothers to go against the Young Bucks and Brandon Dragons and Dungeons. I'm not a weirdo Cutler. I knew you said something much worse then. Now I remember we're live. And then we've got Nyla Rose and Tay Conte. And then the main event is Darby Allin defending his TNT Championship versus Johnny Hungy, which I was psyched for.
Same. So before we get into it properly, once again, make sure you check out Monday Night Chores. Make sure you check out my channel that you're on right now, hopefully. Well, you won't be seeing it anywhere else. An exclusive.
No.
So at GG on Wrestling on Twitter, at GG on Wrestling on YouTube. Check out figtees.co.uk as well. Use code GGPod to save 15%. So you want to just get straight into the first match?
Yes, and I'm just going to ask you, how do you feel about personally the champion of a whole company, A, coming out first, and B, opening the show? Are you for or against this kind of shenanigans?
I mean, it's a strange one, but yeah, I'm all for it, mate. I think they always open the show with a bang, and
Yeah,
this was no
yeah,
different. Bringing, shoving Kenny out straight away with the long intro that we, have grown to love. I thought it was
yeah,
brilliant.
yeah. Same here. I mean, my kind of philosophy on this is, if you're a wrestler, you either want to be first match or the last match. Anything in
Mm.
between, you know. I heard a story about Eddie Guerrero moaning that he was first on when he comes to WWE. And there was like, there's a reason why you're first on, because we need those excitement levels to go through the roof. So it's a compliment, and
And the
obviously we're
crowd,
putting a
the
champion
crowd,
on.
the crowd were brilliant for the show
Yeah, they
overall.
were.
So, that
Yeah,
may have, Kenny coming out first probably helped that quite a lot, I would have thought.
of course. Yeah, yeah.
So what did
You
you
want
think
to,
of
like you
this?
said.
So what did you think of this match overall? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I enjoyed the commentary. Like, it kind of for me took over. We had, like, I don't know if you noticed, but straight in we had Red Arse JR, didn't we? Which is
Yeah,
angry
he
Jim
was
Ross.
he was on fire.
Yeah, yeah, and I loved it. I loved it from the get go. He almost started. He almost woke up Tony Schiavone. Like, even Tony
Mm.
started getting like, "Yeah, fuck you, Don Callis,"
Yeah, they was
because
all
we
ganging
had.
up on him.
They were, yeah, and I like Don Callis and commentary. Do we need a heel announcer on Dynamite? Because I kind of feel like maybe we do.
To be fair, Taz has a little kind of heel tendency on Dark, and him and Excalibur work quite well together. But I love
Yes, you're right.
I loved Callis, especially when he said, he's calling Seidel a young upstart. And and I think JR quickly just quipped back. Tony was like, he's older than Kenny. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought that
yeah,
was
yeah.
quite funny.
There was a lot of good moments from Callis when what was it he said? So someone said something about, I think, Kenny Omega being unhinged, and Don Callis said, "Kenny and I have a very happy life outside of wrestling." I was like, okay. Like the way he worded that, it was like they were a couple. Like, Kenny and I are very happy outside of
Yeah,
wrestling.
like you had to prove it to people.
Yeah, like not like they live together. But and then what Excalibur then went on to question Kenny Omega's sanity, because Kenny keeps talking to himself, and Don turned around and said, "You're the one who wears a mask, and you're not even a wrestler." And I mean, coming from me, it's not that funny, but it just popped me the way he said it. It was like, "Well, fuck me, you're wearing a mask, mate. Like, no one even knows you wrestle." So, um, yeah, I thought it was a good match. It started off really fast with Sadell on attack, and then Omega done the typical sort of thing of he slowed his man down. He dominated the pace. Sadell made his comeback, didn't he? Got his spot back, and then there was a few false finishes, and then, as we all expected, Kenny Omega put him down, didn't he?
Yeah,
What did you think, G?
just a brilliant, like, energetic start. Like, they were working
Yeah,
quite stiff at times, it seemed. I think Matt Seidel caught him a couple of times in the face, it seemed like.
yeah,
But great start to the show. You want Kenny going over strong. I
of
love the tease
course.
of the V trigger.
Yeah,
Like the way they tease it as a false finish, and we all know it's not going to be, but we still pop and act as if it's going to be the finish, and it
yeah,
never is.
yeah,
But yeah,
absolutely.
I thought it
Yeah.
was such a good match.
Yeah, no, it was. I give it a thumbs up, and um, yeah, I like Omega, but there are times when he can go into what I call like the young bucks territory, which you'll find more as the shows go on. What I think about the Bucks, but yeah, sometimes he can go a bit indie-rific, and I just sort of roll my eyes and think, oh. But this match was kept at a length where I just, yeah, no, but it was a good sort of champion versus higher mid card challenger match. So
Definitely. I just want to go
yeah,
to the YouTube comments quickly. WrestleManiac
of
UK,
course.
shout out Mex. The near fall that Omega got out of was definitely because Seidel caught him, didn't he, at one point, and it did look like
Yeah,
it was actually going to end, and that was just crazy. So yeah.
yeah. Yes, definitely. That was good near film. Yeah.
And then we lead on to the Meat Man, Johnny
Oh,
Hungy. What a brilliant little segment this was. I pop every time we see the Meat Man himself.
yeah,
Just look at him.
absolutely. Oh,
He's
I think everyone has taken John Silver. Like, I mean, overall the Dark Order, but John Silver into their hearts, really. He's
He's so good. I just love the training for Darby Allin with the trust falls of the coffin drop, and him getting out of the way. Do you watch BTE much? Because they was doing some training on there, and they was all hitting John Silver with skateboards to see like as training.
yeah, I did. I was watching Being the Elite quite religiously, and I think it was probably about the time that Brody Lee passed away that I stopped. Not for that reason, but it was around that time. I think that was the last one I saw was a tribute to him, and it made me cry. But no, I just through other other viewing commitments, I've not, but I will definitely, because I love Being the Elite. Sometimes you don't want to watch a wrestling show, but you want to watch something about wrestling, and that fills in that gap really well.
There's something about wrestling. I just don't know what it is,
There is something about that's catchy. You should use that for something.
I might do. So next up, I think I want to make this maybe a regular segment of ours. Is these Hangman Page?
Yes.
So today we had Got Friends in Dark Places, which I thought was really cool. I really want to kind of gather all of those kind of title pictures and just get the story through them, maybe see if they can just tell the story through that, which I think they probably could.
Do you have a favorite?
Not off the top of my head. There's been a lot of they always pop me though.
Yeah, the one that sticks out to me is and it's normally social media, which reminds me I'm going to be looking out for them, because when I watch Dynamite I don't, and then I'll see something on Twitter and I'll be like, oh right, yeah. Hangman Page broke his phone 6 weeks ago, but he's too tight to buy a new one. It was something along those lines. I was just like, that's just petty as hell, but
that's what it's got to be, though, isn't it? He's the everyman. He's the, your average Joe, the relatable character, and they just drive it home. I love it.
They remind me of Matt Facts from Matt Hardy version 1. Matt thinks bagels are terrible snacks, and just like really crappy.
Matt doesn't like mustard.
yeah. Matt thinks Thanksgiving is a crappy holiday. Just crappy little things, because wrestling can be funny without being cringy sometimes,
if you're watching the right show.
Yeah. So Hangman versus Cesar Bononi. Bononi. Yeah, we'll just call him Bononi for now until we learn how to pronounce his name. What did you think about it? I mean, this actually, go on. Tell me what you think, Gigi.
I mean, it's just exactly what it needed to be. I mean, it was just let's make Hangman look good. Caesar got a few shots off, got some heat going, which is good for a little, not a little, but a younger wrestler. I thought it was exactly what it needed to be. Short, sweet, to the point. Good stuff.
I've put down that it was a nice short squash match, and it's something that I've been crying out for on Dynamite, and especially Dark. Like, I know they do have like a tier system apparently, which isn't used on TV, but like you're a certain tier talent, so when you come in, you're not contracted and you're this, and then you work you up. But sometimes like these local talents are getting so much offense in, and they're getting like a 9.5 minute match. I'm just like, this needs to be a squash. So I was so happy to see on Dynamite. It doesn't take anything away from Cesar, because he's on Dynamite. So he's stepped up from Dark. He's stepped out of the Dark into a Dynamite, and he got a few bits in, but it was this was for Hangman, wasn't it? For him to just regain a bit of strength.
Yeah, and I thought it was exactly what it needed to be, and we get a nice victory sip at the end from Hangman there.
It was at this point that, did you hear what Excalibur referred to his beer as? Page Wiser.
Perfect. I loved it.
Somewhere Steve Austin's rolling in his grave.
I thought that was a lovely little touch.
I liked it. Yeah, no, I liked it.
It was sick.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then next is Lance Archer's promo, which was, again, not anything spectacular.
No. I mean, I've got a question for you. You've got a good mind for the biz. How do they stop this big man treading water and really get him swimming in the all elite ocean? Because he's not getting there, is he? He's got Jake Roberts. He's kind of got his potential as a monster heel, but he hasn't really done anything.
Yeah, I think I was quite concerned when he was going after Darby,
Hmm.
but obviously it turns out now that he's going after Sting, which will help a bit more than going after Darby, because I think that puts him in an awkward situation with the belt. Because Lance Archer's got to win it if he goes after Darby, because otherwise, what happens?
Yeah,
So what do
this
you
is a
reckon?
first. Yeah. Well, I think he's better off losing to Sting than losing to Darby, and those are basically his two options. He wasn't going to beat Darby.
Does he have to lose to Sting though? They might even be able to. Sting might throw him
Yeah.
a bone and let him go over.
Yeah, I don't know because Sting is their golden goose at the moment, and I think he's not had the right amount of build for me to beat Sting to make it worthwhile. I think maybe if they sort of bring this, yeah, he just hasn't done enough for me to beat Sting.
Yeah, me
I
neither.
mean, no, I mean, but then having said that, that could be his springboard. He could beat Sting and just go on a,
A tear.
juggernaut kind of, yeah, absolutely, yeah. But I like Lance Archer, but do you not feel it might have been Dave from the Monday Night Chores who brought it up? Do you not think he's got too much of a friendly face? There's something about him when I just look at him, I think, yeah, you're right, probably.
Yeah, you look like you're all right once you get to know you.
Yeah,
you
those baby blue eyes, you
you're
don't
not
really want to
fooling
hurt
me.
people. No.
You just want to cuddle.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'll leave that to you.
Nah, I'm all right.
So then we go to we're going back to a women's match. We've got Thunder Rosa. What did you think of this? I mean, the only thing that I've put is shit. Thunder Rosa won that match because no one's talking about her, are they? They're all talking about
No.
Britt Baker, and all the focus has been about Britt.
That's what I did say to you. It's a shame we didn't start this last week because that main event was crazy.
It was a
I mean,
cracker, wasn't it?
I don't want to go too into it because we need to cover this show, but that was just, yeah, one of the best women's matches I've ever seen personally. Britt looked like an absolute monster, and
Yeah,
that's why I thought, obviously cutting now to her coming out with the segment of the evening, the promo of the evening, possibly.
absolutely. And that
You know,
T-shirt.
you say you nailed it on the head. Everyone's talking about Britt, and I was concerned that she was going to get a big baby face pop just because of
Mm,
how over she was last week, but
yeah,
straight away she was just stood there with just disdain on her face. She
yeah,
was just not happy to be
yeah.
there, and that's what she had to do. It was very important for her to turn that big pop into an immediate boom.
Absolutely. You've hit the nail on the head. That is so hard after a match like that to maintain a heel reaction,
Mm,
and she did within seconds. There was no hesitation. The people wanted to dislike her, and that was all thanks to her and her mannerisms and how she addresses everyone. But did you see on? So she basically gave Mick Foley a bit of a caning, didn't she? And said it took you 20 plus years to become a hardcore legend. I became a hardcore legend in one night. And then did you see what Mick Foley tweeted? Did you see
no,
this?
I've been off of Twitter all day,
Right.
just so I could avoid the spoilers.
So this is obviously going along with Kane being inducted into Hall of Fame. Mick Foley tweeted a huge congratulations to Kane for his well-deserved induction into the Hall of Fame. This landmark achievement makes Glenn Jacobs the only dentist with a Hall of Fame-worthy career, which I just thought was a nice bit of friendly banter between them. Yeah,
Nice,
because
very
there's no
nice.
hate. There's no heat there, is there? I mean, it's all respect and love.
That was nice. I like that.
Yeah, no, I'm
But
glad I noticed that. So I was like, oh,
but what did you think of that promo? That was brilliant. Like such
yes,
fire, such passion. Like the way when she said, "You got to be a part of the history that I wrote with my own blood," and she was just
yeah.
shouting it. Like she was just on form, man. She was on it. She was ready to go
I
again.
Yeah, I can't. I just think she's money. She's got so much attitude, and the smart fans hate her because whatever, she's not like work rate orientated. But no other woman can touch her on the microphone, in All Elite Wrestling, and I just think she's got the right mix of everything that, but they can't. I think she's going to be a heel for a long time. She's almost at the point now where I don't really feel like she needs a belt. I'm not in any rush for her to be champion of that division.
I don't know. I'd kind of like to see her with the belt, a big heel at the top. That's how I like my wrestling, really.
True, yeah, but it needs to be a long run. I don't want to see her have it just to lose it in 6 months' time to like the next sort of Japanese baby face that comes along.
But I honestly think, it's a real testament to Thunder Rosa and the work that she's done, because I think Britt Baker needed that real baby face to counteract with, and that's what's really helped.
Yeah.
And the bit that her actually talking about the issues at hand here with AEW, you're signing all these legends and you've got me right under your nose and stuff like that. I thought it was just so good, man. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, that typical sort of jilted, overlooked superstar. And also, like you said about Thunder Rosa, she's one of the only female baby faces who like isn't smiling. Do you know what I mean? She's not coming out and being like, "Hi." She's like gritty. She wants to kick your ass. She's sort of been overlooked herself, and so yeah, I'd watch a few more matches of these two. I'd like to see them have a rematch, possibly at a pay-per-view.
I think. Well, I want Britt with the belt, like you said. I think. Well, you're not really up for it yet.
I didn't say that.
Yeah, no, you're not up for it yet. But I think, I'd love to see her at the top of the card now. And like she said, the most important 3 letters in wrestling right now, DMD.
In both companies. Oh no, sorry. Did Isaac Yankem have a DMD to his name?
I think he did, didn't he?
Isaac Yankem. Yeah, DMD. No, he did. Yeah,
sounds like he did.
There you go.
But yeah, that just to round that off, 10 out of 10. It was to the point where I listened to her talk and I'm like screw facing as if I'm listening to like a mad tune or something, because I'm just so like absorbed by her heelness.
Brilliant. No, I'm exactly the same, to be fair. Like I was just watching it, just like she's borderlining on turning face, so because if guys like you and I are watching it and being like, oh, like we're already saying how much we love her, so she's already not a heel on this show, is she?
She seems to be coping well. Not on this show. She's not.
Yeah. No, I think she's gonna hit that sort of stone cold tweener thing, isn't she? Like what Jericho kind of bounced the line of for a while. Like we all love and respect her or him, but who we got? GG.
Monday Night Chores. Monday Night Chores.
I thought they'd been blocked from this page.
I tried. I couldn't figure it out. They just put Isaac Yankem TIT.
Oh,
mature, mature.
I thought it was GAZ TIT.
You're not going to go into the rhyme, are you?
Yeah. I'm going to do a diss track.
So next we had the Christian segment, didn't we? Which Christian and his boys. And to be honest, in my opinion, I think he fits in with these group of guys. I think right at home.
Yeah, like look at how he was with the Edge and Christian kind of thing. They were these kind of pretty blonde, fancy lads, weren't they? So go on, G.
I just mean in terms of status, in my opinion.
Oh right, okay, yeah. I mean, he almost has the status of a Griff Garrison. I mean, he's not quite there yet.
Who the fuck is Griff Garrison?
I don't know, Jungle Boy's little brother, I think. Jungle Boy Junior, maybe. So, I mean, wrestling Twitter was basically, this is how wrestling Twitter went before Christian come about, and it was as follows. Tony Khan says someone huge is going to come along. Paul White said they're going to be Hall of Fame worthy. We'll want it to be John Cena, Batista, or whoever. But we think it's most likely going to be Christian, RVD, or whatever. We're all going to be so disappointed. Boo hoo. We all did that. I did it. Now it is Christian. Can we all just drop that? Let's just get on the Christian bandwagon. He's here. No, you can't do it, G. You can't do it. Oh, I am.
I've never really been on the Christian bandwagon. I've never been a peep.
No.
I just think, I just never rated him as highly as everyone. I just think Yeah, he's a worker's worker. The boys, the quote unquote boys, the wrestlers love
Mm.
him. But for me, I'm not. He doesn't excite. I just don't think he's got any dynamic moves personally. It
Yeah,
doesn't excite me to watch. But that's just my opinion. If you
no,
like
you're
him,
right.
fair play.
You're right, and I agree with that to an extent. Like he's always been too small for me
Mm.
to be
For
like a
what?
top
For what?
top guy.
What are you going to use him
Oh,
for?
well, I'll tell you later. Just, I mean, and I'm not a body guy in wrestling, but like Shawn Michaels, people be like, well, Shawn Michaels was a small guy and he made it. Well, he was 6'1" and like 240
Mm,
odd pounds. He weren't, if you met Shawn Michaels in 1997, he was not a small guy. He was
not at
small in
all.
comparison to being like, he wasn't 6'7", 350 pounds. Like, I could just know you're reading something from Dave now.
No, it was actually one of my mates, Paddy. Shout out Paddy in the chat. Christian should have just stayed in Hanson. So
But
it
once he
was
cut his hair off, there was no chance they were going to keep him in, was there?
well true.
Well, no, actually, all of Hanson did cut their hair off. So
I didn't
anyway,
follow their later stuff. I was a old school fan.
you were just a hardcore bop guy.
Yeah, just stick to their old shit, man. None of the new stuff.
Anyway, if you guys want to talk about Hanson, that's another podcast which we're going to start next week. What I was saying is, look, we're not thrilled it's Christian, but we knew it probably would be. Let's just fucking try and enjoy it. Gigi, come on, can you enjoy it a little bit? Do you think? Do you think you can just put a fake smile on your face and just be like, "Yeah, it's Christian." That'll do.
It's
Look, isn't it?
there's plenty of wrestling for me to enjoy. I don't have to enjoy
Yeah.
Christian as well. Do you know what I mean? So
Not even if I say please. Still no.
No. Well, we'll skim
It was a
over
nice
his
little segment.
Yeah, it was just building to him and Kazarian, obviously, and that will obviously go on next week. And yeah, it's a bit of an awkward segment, but that was it, really.
Yes.
Next, what did we have next?
Oh, it was on to the Varsity Blondes and Dante Martin versus Pinnacle. The combination of Sean Spears and FTR. This didn't do anything for me.
Really? I enjoyed the theme. Their theme is really good. Like that, they've nailed it with their theme tune.
Who?
The
Pinnacle or?
Yeah, the Pinnacle.
I didn't even notice it. I'll be
It
honest.
was like, old school 90s electric guitar, Power Rangers sounding
kind of, yeah. We're going for a Four Horsemen vibe, aren't they?
That's so
the only thing, like, Sean Spears needs to stop changing his look. We get it. Like, you came in with a bit of clout and then really it just fizzled. Not everyone can come in and, like, was Sean Spears ever going to be a tippy-toppy guy? I mean, we were kind of made to believe. I think they just started him with a bang and now he keeps changing the colour of his mohawk and I've just lost interest. Really. I love FTR.
Yeah.
But where is this all going? We've got a lot of factions at the moment, haven't we?
Loads.
Yeah, and a small roster, really. I mean, although they have got kind of a big roster in some ways, for Dynamite, the exposure on Dynamite is very narrow, isn't it? And to have that many.
The only thing I would say about
factions.
the factions, though, is New Japan do it quite well. Everyone kind of slots into a faction.
Really?
Now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you'd struggle to find names that aren't in a faction in New Japan. So that's
okay.
That's just everyone's in a camp kind of thing, pretty much.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I could get the whole kind of like the Nightmare Family and that kind of thing, where it's not such a strict faction. But we'll see. I mean, I'm not against them. I mean, from the match, Dante did a. I think I'm mispronouncing his name. Is it Dan? It is Dante, isn't it?
Dante.
I
think it depends where you're from in England, mate.
Well, from Malden, it's Dante, and he did a beautiful moonsault. It was glorious, I've written, and he also had a little offensive flurry, where just a flurry of like the typical sort of indie strikes. But it was
that
good.
when he done the flip off of? Maybe it's one of the FTR.
Yes.
He kind of did a backflip off of them. Yeah, that was kind of the most exciting part of the match for me. I think he got a good flurry of offense. But yeah, it wasn't nothing to write home about. But I think it was.
We had 6 guys, and what did they probably have 8 or 9 minutes? So really, you're better to make one person stand out than try and make everyone stand out, because then it's just a clusterfuck.
Yeah,
much like later on down the card. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we come to a little post-match promo, didn't we? What were your thoughts on that? Wardlow got some digs in first. Oh, look at that. That's Gaz from Monday Night Chores.
It does look like him, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. All sweaty with his mouth open.
But yeah, I think Dax was brilliant.
Yeah.
The line when he said, "You look, if you're looking for the excellence in wrestling, or however you put it, you look for my family, you look for the pinnacle." And it kind of, at that point, I was a bit more sold on the name. Just the way he delivered that line, I was a
Yeah.
bit more sold on it. And I thought, yeah, his promo was brilliant. What did you reckon of an MJF as well? With the, what did he say? Did you write it down? What he said about Jericho?
Oh, I just said he pulled no punches, and he pretty much said what every Jericho hater on Twitter has been saying for the past 12 months, is that Jericho's fat. He said something about you've broken every chair you sat on.
The only thing you're going to break on now is the chair you decide to sit on.
Yeah. And
Ultimate
last week,
violation.
I know. And the other week he said something about Jericho's drinking, which I think people have been talking about. People think he drinks so much, and that his pecs are too far apart.
Oh yeah.
I mean, as disses go, that's pretty harsh.
I mean, that cuts deep, mate.
Yeah.
That's fighting talk. That is definite fighting talk.
Don't talk shit about my pecs, no matter what condition they're in. You bring up my pecs, and I'll be coming to see you. That's all I'm gonna say. Me and my flabby little man tits. Team Taz, that was a bit weak, really, wasn't it? Just we've all made up, and Cage here looking pissed off.
It was just Cage basically going, right, we're good.
Yeah.
He was just basically falling in line. That was all it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, but he kind of didn't really, did he? He just said his motto and went, "There you go, I'm out."
Yeah, true. I mean, it kind of gave the impression that he had fallen in line, but I guess they're still kind of teasing that he's not.
They're leaving a tinge of doubt, aren't they? Yeah. Fucking hell, QT. This, I mean, considering we've had quite a long promo for Pinnacle, then we've gone on to Team Taz, and now we've gone on to words with QT Marshall, who I'm not sure how many people give a shit about QT Marshall, really. And the only thing that did stick out to me is he pointed out, "There's my wife sitting at ringside." So, like, okay, QT Marshall's got a wife now, but going back 3 months ago, he was maxing out his credit card on the bunny.
Oh,
so
you're
is
right.
she just sitting there knowing that for the last few months he was like trying to get up in the bunny, or are we just meant to forget that because AEW just
That's
it part
right,
of the same
actually,
narrative?
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
I didn't actually notice that. That's a good spot.
First thing I thought when they said about his wife, I just thought, oh, okay. So,
I mean,
does she watch Dynamite?
Depends how quickly you get married, you know. I guess because
yeah, okay.
It might have been love at first sight. Who are we to judge?
Yeah, he might have married her. Like he might have met her after, like, she might have been a woman in the bank when he was like, "Look, I've got all these fucking credit cards. I need to set up some sort of loan," and then that's how they met. Other than that, I think it's pretty sketchy.
You're right.
Yeah,
what do you make of all this? The whole exhibition match that we're going to have next week.
I was hoping we'd just moved on from this, but yeah, basically Cody said we'll have an exhibition match, and my arm hurts because I've got it in a sling, and
I'm not going to hurt you, mate.
If I get you in the Crossroads, I won't do it. If I get you in a figure four, I'll release it. Well, why have a fucking match then? Yeah, it's not good. And then also the knowledge of knowing that we're going to have the roads to success or the road to something reality TV show. The only good thing that will come out of that TV show is that Brandy Rhodes can get her sort of attention fixing without us having to watch her wrestle. Like, she's got a TV show, she can just do that over there now. She hasn't got to like be in a different storyline each week in Dynamite.
Yeah. I mean, to Cody's credit, he is a funny geezer. So I think if anyone could possibly pull it off, he has got some good like comedic timing. He is quite funny, so we'll have to just
Yeah.
see. I'm not for it. I don't like any of these reality things, but
No,
you know,
no. And yeah, I'm the same as you. I love Cody, in or out of the ring. He's just he just is genuine, isn't he?
yeah, I just think he's got this real charisma, and he is just really funny when he wants to be. He's had some blinding moments on BTE that are just fucking
Yeah.
hilarious. So yeah,
No, you're totally right. Right, my man. What did we have next?
Lucha Brothers and Laredo Kid versus Young Bucks and Brandon Cutler. Chaos.
Yeah, yeah. I'm
Absolute
gonna
chaos.
hand over to you now because I get lost in anything with. I love Lucha Bros, but when they're with the Young Bucks, I just get lost. It's too much for me, to be honest, and it's like trying to read a book with no commas, apostrophes, or full stops. Like wrestling needs to be a story, and there needs to be time for people to sell and digest what's
Mm,
going on, and it just goes, blah, 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 and I just zone out. I can see what they're doing is impressive, but
mm.
I don't want to watch a film just with 75 stunts in it and no story. And that is
But
how I feel about wrestling.
people do though. And you know, I think
Yeah.
personally, I get it. I get the stigma. I get
Mm,
where you're coming from. But for me, I don't mind a spot
no,
match. I
no.
honestly, sometimes it's just nice just the crazy stuff they do. Nick Jackson and Phoenix was always going to be great chemistry when they were like in the ring together,
Yeah.
which I thought was
Yeah.
just blinding.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Um,
in
yeah,
in its at times I can enjoy it, just not a lot of the time, I suppose. Like
but
I get what you're saying. Sometimes it's just like watching fireworks and you just go, wow, 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 wow.
but it's almost like watching. Sometimes it's like watching two different firework displays at the same time because you're getting a spike DDT on the apron, then you're getting a Spanish fly over here, and it's
Yeah.
like whoa.
Absolutely, yeah. And my
But
old man brain just sort of goes, ugh.
these kids,
I don't like it. Yeah, but the old Jim Cornette pops up on my shoulder and goes, "Are you really watching this? Is this what you like?" And call
are you
yourself a
watching
wrestling fan.
this?
I'm going, Jim, fuck off. Yeah.
Who's on the other?
So
If
I
Cornette's on that side, who's on the other? Jr.
no, because
Or
JR's probably
Meltzer.
on the same shoulder as Cornette, isn't he? Let's be honest. I
Meltzer.
mean, if you listen to, yeah, Meltzer, but I wouldn't know any. I wouldn't know anything. Like, I don't think there's anyone on the other shoulder at the moment when it comes to those sort of matches. But I mean, if you listen to Jim Ross's podcast, he literally just slates for Young Bucks without mentioning a name about leg slapping 15 super kick. Like, I'm sure when his contract comes up, he's going to leave and just
Do you
it's going to be
reckon?
scathing. Yeah,
Do you
would you keep him if you were Tony Khan? I wouldn't keep Jim Ross.
I
You
honestly
would.
would. You know why? And I don't like when WWE cling to nostalgia, but for
Mm,
me, especially when you're trying to draw product eyes to a product that isn't WWE, I
yeah.
think
Mm,
like when I've shown people AEW matches that haven't really watched it at all, straight
yeah.
away, Jim Ross, what the hell?
Oh,
This,
Jim Ross.
yeah, and I,
Yeah.
I'm not, you know, I don't want to just keep him sat there just for that, you know, for that
No,
fact.
I get you.
But
If it brings in the relapse fan or the casuals, that's fine. But I've been in the wrestling trenches like since 1980, whatever. I don't need Jim Ross to hold my hand for me to watch a new show. Tony
yeah,
Schiavone, brilliant. Like he doesn't do a lot, but I like he's nice to be there. Excalibur is great. I'd like to see Excalibur, Schiavone, and then a heel commentator. I think JR could be a good heel commentator. Just why don't they just let him do that? Just
Jericho would probably be
yeah, Jericho. He did cross my mind. Yeah,
a good
he
third for
definitely
him.
did. So
But yeah, I mean, what do you think of the match? It was just kind of spot, and then obviously we get the right decision. Cutler takes the loss. I literally
yeah,
went, "Oh,
obviously.
Cutler! Fuck's sake, Cutler,
Why are
man!"
you in the match, Cutler? Oh yeah, to lose. I can't tell you anything about the match because it just lost me. I loved everything that happened after the match. I love heel Kenny Omega. Great. Like his little bit was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's good. He's a good heel.
So I've just had to write a couple of quotes down because Kenny's little spiel at the end. So I never chose AEW. I chose you. That kind of hit the feels.
Yeah,
Talking to the Young Bucks. I chose
it's like
you
the
guys.
Morrissey of wrestling, isn't he?
I don't listen to Morrissey, mate. Sorry. Has he, has he ever featured on a Dr. Dre album or any kind of?
Yeah, I think Dr. Dre and
Oh,
Morrissey
sorry. You
did
mean
collab.
Mark Morrissey?
Yeah, Return of the Mac.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. I thought you were talking about someone else. And
the
then when he
Smiths.
when he says you'd rather sit, you chose not to sit with the cool kids and the captain of the football team. You chose Brandon Cutler.
Yeah,
He's just lost the
I
match and
like
he's just
that.
getting another little dig in, which I liked. And then, so obviously he goes through that kind of dramatized, you don't love me anymore kind of thing. And he says, toss it up for the hard cam. He wants them to too sweet, and they just deny him yet again.
Yeah, no, well, that's their last chance, according to Kenny, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're done.
This is your last chance, and they walked away. So I think they're fools, personally.
Yeah.
I'm gonna we've already talked about really Cody and Brandy getting their own show, so I don't think we need to pay that any more attention than we already have. So should we go to Moxley and Kingston have a little promo, don't they?
Always
It's not
happy to see them together.
Yeah, there's not much to it. I just wrote it's good stuff.
Yeah, I almost think that they're becoming like the commentary for what's going on. They almost it's almost like talking to us directly as the audience and kind of breaking the fourth wall. The way even
But
Eddie Kingston starts the promo and says it's a broken something. It's a broken something. Like, it doesn't matter. You guys know.
yeah. I'm injured. That's the
Yeah,
story here. Yeah,
yeah.
my leg hurts.
It's kind of a real tongue
Yeah,
in cheek look at what's going on in AEW, and the way Moxley says, I've got no patience for the Bullet Club melodrama. It's just great commentary of what's going on, I guess.
yeah. I think you've actually sort of put into words what I was thinking, but I hadn't, put that into words. It was something more real about it, wasn't there? Definitely, and all that did register with me without sort of physically like being like bang. They're sort of actually just saying like we're all like they're just watching it. Like, what is this bullshit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved it. Loved it.
Loved it, mate.
Proper loved it. What is next? Nyla Rose versus Ty Conti.
I love Nyla Rose's entrance. I don't know why. I think it's her music. It's the it kind of, I don't even know what it is. It's just kind of like a tribal kind of Native American. It's kind of intimidating, but other than that,
yeah.
After that, it's not a whole lot there for me.
I mean,
it was a good.
Yeah, Ty Conti's good technical wrestler. Nyla Rose does her part well. Good to see Ty Conti win. Ty Conti.
Yeah.
But that's, pretty standard women's match. They needed some kind of women on there. I think part of me, and I know this sounds bad, just resented it wasn't Britt or Thunder Rosa after last week.
I think we need to say no more. It was hard hitting. I think the best thing about that match wasn't really anything to for match. It was just the fact that Nyla lost and no one was expecting it. I think that was the best they could really do with that. Like, because we're going to go, it's going to be another plucky sort of baby face who's just going to put up a bit of a fight and then get squashed, and it didn't. And I was like, oh, right, okay, well,
yeah,
good stuff. And then afterwards was just, again, like, you don't have to have something. So far, every match afterwards we've had a stable or people just come out.
And if it's ever Matt Hardy, that just hurts me even more. I fucking hate Matt Hardy with a passion.
Yeah.
He's probably a lovely guy, and I'm not saying I hate him as a person, but his character, I
characters, because he's had about 9 gimmick changes since. I was all for Broken Matt, and then maybe doing that thing where he sort of nipped to like Team Extreme and version 1 and these kind of like nostalgic things, but Now he's just dropped all that totally. It's just I'm not going to waste any more time talking about Matt Hardy. I mean, the bunny got zero response running out. Literally, she ran out, and the wavelength of the crowd did not change. So that
I
was a
think
fucking
QT. I
waste.
think QT perked up a bit. But that was about it.
He did. He was just looking at his wife like
Distracting her.
shit. Ooh.
Look
She's
at
the wife's
me.
going. Is that her? Is that the one?
I'm gonna get her. I'm gonna kill her. The bitch.
Yeah. So fuck that off. And then the Arcade Anarchy match. That's just a yawn, isn't it? Like
Didn't he
we're
say something
doing.
about? He said something about it being a game, and he kind of used a metaphor of the feud as a game, didn't he, or something? And I
I
just
don't
thought,
know. It's
if this whole thing was a game, I would have unplugged it a long time ago.
absolutely, yeah. I would have chucked a whole console in the skip. Um, like they've made me not be interested in Miro. Like he could have had something. He kind of goes into the Lance Archer category, like a lot of potential. Now, like, why did you put him with like some kid from Norfolk who, like, an indie rific kind of British guy who I don't even know why Kip Sabian's in AEW. Like, there's nothing particularly bad about him, but he's your kind of skinny, some 41 kick pad wearing indie guy who, like, if you
Yeah,
saw at a local show, I'd probably be like, fucking hell, that guy's amazing. Not on TV though, and
no, he hasn't
yeah,
got that, has he? He hasn't got it
no,
just yet, or
no.
anything.
No, he hasn't. He's very just fucking there. So we'll just get on to the shit that matters, shall we? And that would be old Darby Allen and Johnny Hungy.
What a bloody match!
It was amazing, wasn't it?
It was so
There he
bloody
is,
good.
little Darby.
So good, man.
And to see two men so what we've been sort of led to believe, so undersized. And I'm
Yeah,
watching this main event, and do you know the one thing I wasn't thinking about is I wasn't thinking, look how short John Silver is, and I wasn't thinking, look how skinny Darby Allin is, until I got to a point and I was like, wow, like a few
this is a.
years ago, this would have been impossible.
I had this. I had this written down. I wrote down that John Silver wrestles like he's 7 foot tall. Like
Mm, mm.
sometimes the way he was throwing Darby into those corners, like with
Ah, yeah,
just no care, just dashing him into corners, left, right, and center. He just,
yeah,
and then, but then at the same time, he's still so dynamic and quick and does these flashy kicks. And
yeah,
it was,
absolutely. He
yeah,
was.
great.
I just put Johnny Hungy in a main event. I love to see it, and I'd watch him in many, many more main events. He ragged old Darby around, just fucking used him like a human crash test dummy, didn't he? Which is what Darby. I saw exactly what I expected to see, and it's what I wanted to see. And
Yeah.
yeah, and then Sting shows up with a bat. Oh, Five sacrificed himself, didn't he? There's a story there with Five, isn't there?
Yeah, it's basically fuck off 5. That's just
Yeah, yeah.
how they treat him, don't they? So
He needs to come up like the lotus from the mud at some point and become. You could make another John Silver out of Five,
you
or
could,
he fucks off.
the ugly
But
duckling, isn't it? Almost.
exactly, yeah, yeah.
But yeah, there was a few good spots in it. You had like there was a great German on the outside to Derby. Some of the like the suicide dive that you just mentioned, Derby hitting on 5 was great. Some of the
Mm,
kicks were just insane. And
yeah.
what was that bloody DDT that John Silver hit, where he did something weird, didn't he? He kind of had him
It
and
was
then
like a
just
yeah, kind of like a double underhook, but he rolled through, didn't he? Is that I
kind of
haven't
just
got it
went
noted down, but
just went round him. I don't know. It was really odd. It's nothing like I've ever
oh yeah,
seen.
yes, yes, yes. It was kind of like what The Rock used to do, wasn't it? Do you remember where like when he was Rocky Maivia, he'd sort of flip round and do that. But I know what you're saying. Yeah, and this brings me to that leads nicely onto my point where John Silver is so invaluable because every time I see John Silver, he just shows me more. Every time he's in the ring, I see something I haven't seen from him before. And guys in AEW need to learn from that because so many guys show me everything they've got in every match. So I've seen everything Darby Allin's got. I've seen everything the Young Bucks got. I've seen everything all these guys have got because they feel that need to just show everything.
Mm.
Whereas John Silver, he's always going to go, whoa, I ain't never seen John Silver do that before. And that's the art, isn't it? Say, keep some back, because there's going to be a pay-per-view main event one day and you're going to want to pop for crowd, you know.
I think it
But yeah,
helps him that he's quite heavily involved in a lot of tag matches, so he can kind of keep some shit to the side.
absolutely, yeah.
Generally, I
And
think you're right.
you don't need to see John Silver in the ring every week because he's
No.
he's starring in being the elite. And so he's in a great position to do good things.
I just wanted to touch on this bit of the match. I don't know if this jogs your memory, but
Yeah,
do you know? It was just like he was such desperation that he kind of like really pulled him. You know, like a
he
last ditch
lost
effort.
himself that count. Darby did
Yeah.
not get his foot, and that, yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. That was a great bit of story because, and it wasn't like he slid him over because he was out of position. It wasn't a botch like that. It was perfectly timed, perfect placement, and the refs just looked and gone, no, he's out of bounds.
It was
So,
like he wanted it too much, and that's what hurt him. Which was so good.
So it really, in a lot of our eyes, we're like, he could have had that. So yeah, absolute barn burner. And then we saw the Code Red, which had very little snap to it by that point. But I was happy to go home by then. Like
I saw it a mile off. Like when he got him up there when he was getting him up for the power bomb, I could see that finish coming. But still delivered nicely, exactly what you needed.
Yeah,
good shit.
That's it, and that is the show, young man.
Well, so do you want to? We'll both give our Dynamite and Dynamite.
Yeah. So what? And a Dyna shite, is that what we're calling it?
Yeah.
Not copying any other podcasts. No. Yeah. So what was your most Dynamite thing about Dynamite?
Britt motherfucking Baker.
Yeah. Same here.
Was it? Yeah, that promo.
Yeah.
I just think, and she just really capitalized on the hype of last week, I think, and just nailed it. And out of all, there was a lot of bloody promos on that card, and she fucking nailed it. So yeah, big ups there.
Yeah, absolutely.
What was your Dyna shite?
Dyna shite was just, and like really, I could have yawned my way through it, but it's the hype for the Arcade Anarchy match. Like, don't need to go into it. Oh, he's been your butler, and it's too much, or it's not enough. I don't know what it is, but I don't fucking like it. So yeah.
To be fair, though, it's kind of a plus that they are. I mean, hopefully now putting it to bed. Miro said there's no more cakes, there's no more this, and I was like, oh no, please no, please don't, please don't take it away.
Hopefully, Kip costs them the match. Miro destroys Kip and just goes off on a rampage as a Monster Heel, and they do something with him, maybe with Moxley or whatever. Yes,
not a bad show.
So yeah, there we go. So as we said at the beginning of the show, I mean, we're going to try and rate each show, aren't we? But really, we want to get an average from everyone on Twitter. We want to hear the night of Dynamite or the Thursday morning. We want to
just
get your thoughts in, and we'll read it out on the show. We don't. So we're going to go through your Twitter page, aren't we?
Yeah. So at the moment it will be
on Wrestling.
At GG on Wrestling. I usually put up a post midpoint through the day because I'm trying to desperately avoid spoilers myself. So I always put up. It's just been a tool for me to kind of build excitement for the show because I'm sat at work. Right, guys, don't tell me any spoilers. What would you rate the show out of 10? And then when I see that coming through and I see some high scores, I'm like, oh, I've got something to look forward to when I get home.
Gets you hyped for Dynamite.
It
Absolutely.
Does. So we'll go to a few that I've got. So the first one is at Miss_Doom_. Shout out Jay Wild, big supporter. Always great to see you on the Twitter. 9 out of 10 quality show. All hits and no misses for me. So straight in with a full 9.
He's a happy boy.
And we'll just pick up one more. NK. Shout out NK every time. NK_preach on Twitter. 8 out of 10. Nothing groundbreaking, but some great wrestling and small progression of important storylines. Overall, good show as always. So the Twitter score average was 7.6 out of 10 this week.
Okay.
Where would you put it?
I'd give it an 8. An 8.0, I think. I liked a lot about it, but I've got to leave room for better nitros, better dynamites. So,
Wrong show, wrong show.
Wrong podcast.
Hanson, wrong show.
Yeah,
I'm
So, yeah.
with you. 8 out of 10.
8. Absolutely.
Good show. There was some misses. Like NK said, I think, a lot of promos, which is good because they've got a big talent pool to get through, and
Yeah.
I think it keeps the show exciting. There's a lot of moving parts and a lot of things happening. I'm not going to give it a 10 unless it's an absolute banger, and it's still not a 9 for me. So 8. So our average score is 8. The viewers score 7.6. So I guess we win a prize.
The prize that we're all a bunch of fucking marks, either listening to or doing a wrestling podcast. That's our prize.
But yeah, so you want to wrap it up there?
So, absolutely. Just quickly, we've got an Instagram page for this very show, and it is _hung_bucks. You can tweet me personally.
We should.
Oh shit! Oh, I've gone the wrong way. The wife has just looked at me because she's realised our Instagram handle is for Hung Bucks. I don't know what that means. It was Gigi's idea. You can tweet me directly at Kid Waco. That's KIDWAKEO. You can also find me on the Monday Night Chores podcast, where basically we review Monday Night Raw versus WCW Nitro, and the Monday Night Chores Twitter is Mon Night Chores. The Instagram is Monday_night_chores, and you can find us on YouTube, iTunes, SoundCloud, and Spotify. Gigi, I'll leave it to you, young man.
Definitely check out Monday Night Chores, one of my personal favourites, and that's not even because you're here. I would say it without you being here. I say it alone sometimes.
Yeah, I love that show.
My missus is like, what did you say? Nothing.
Nothing.
I love you, obviously. At GG on wrestling on Twitter. There's something about wrestling wherever you get your podcast from. At GG on wrestling on YouTube, which is where you're viewing this right now. Make sure you just check out the content that I've got coming. More episodes of There's Something About Wrestling. Series 2 is coming very, very soon. And how do you want to sign off?
Thank you. I was just going to say thank you and good night.
Yeah.
Bang.
Good night. Good night, everyone.
Yes.
Should we do this as we go out? Oh.